When Geraldine and I tell our girls about growing up in the 80s and 90s, it's like talking about a whole different planet.
We used to play outside till the street lights came on.
We drank straight out of the water hose, ran everywhere, explored, got lost, got hurt, busted our knees, our heads, and our butts. Nobody knew where we were, what we were doing, or who we were with.
I'm Chris Jones. I'm a rocket scientist, a minister, and a girl dad. And I have a theory about why childhood and everything else feels different now. Because gravity hasn't changed, but the price of a trip to the hospital has.
Blue jeans, Jordans, gas, groceries, and health insurance.
Everything is more expensive, and it's scaring us out of risk, innovation, and the joy of life itself. It was more affordable to fall, to fail, to get back up. And our parents trusted America enough to let us run free. Bankruptcy was for gamblers and crooked real estate developers, not middle-class families, not teachers, not cancer patients.
I'm running for Congress because the fall of the American working class wasn't an accident. It was a political decision. Meet my congressman, French Hill, the most powerful banker in America.
He's my opponent, but he's your problem too. He chairs the Financial Services Committee and fights anything that looks like consumer protection. The law to limit overdraft fees to $5.
This is a change that could save American households $5 billion in overdraft charges every year.
French Hill killed it. Yep, they even found a way to make being broke more expensive.
If there's anybody who's got to go, it's him. I'm blessed. I studied hard, earned 2 degrees from Morehouse College, then 2 masters and a PhD from MIT. I married my best friend, who's a combat veteran and an ER doctor. God gave us 3 beautiful daughters, and along that journey, I earned the votes of 319,000 Arkansans who believe we deserve better. I have good news for you. You can still go outside till the street lights come on. We call it organizing. Just you and a few friends fighting for your freedom, standing up for each other. We have 12 months to win this election.
We have a poll that makes this a 1-point race and a grassroots organization that has been growing for 3.5 years.
This district is full of fighters. We're doing the hard work, and we need you to join us.
It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. And now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? It is showtime. Geno Jones Showtime. Live Monday through Friday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 Central Time, 4:30 p.m. out on the West Coast. And folks, in the Rocky Mountains, Denver, Colorado, we hit you up about 5:30. All right, programming note, check this out. We about less than 2 weeks away from our new start time. It'll be 30 minutes earlier. So in less than 2 weeks, it'll be 7 p.m. instead of 7:30. 7 p.m. on the East Coast, it'll be 6 p.m. Central Time. Chicago, stand up. Live in Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Portland, Oregon, Seattle. It'll be 4. All right, listen, I need everybody to do me a solid right now. Click on that like, see that thumbs up? Come on, hit a brother up, give me the thumbs up. Make me the thumbs up dude. All right, so click on that thumbs up. Like, share, that means copy and paste the link. Copy that link, paste it everywhere. Paste it on your forehead, paste it on your butt cheeks. Well, man, maybe not. I don't know about that. But hey, do you? Post it wherever. Post it in an email, in a text message. Like, share, and tell everybody to subscribe. Yes, subscribe to the Geno Jones Show YouTube channel. It's so important that we support Black-owned media. As my grandmother said, because we tell the truth and shame the devil. Because there's going to be a whole lot of lies tonight. I guess in a couple hours, something like that. Whole lot of lies. It's been a whole lot of lies, and a whole lot of lies will continue. But here, fact from fiction, truth from bullshit, deception, chicanery, skullduggery, just flat out, or as my grandmother would say, folks that'll stick to the lie. You just gonna stick to the lie. That meant that you were just gonna stand there in her face and just keep lying. stick to the lie. Oh yes, this cult will stick to the lie, but we gonna stick to the truth. So I'm really excited. I got a guest coming up very soon. He is running to be the South Carolina Secretary of State, a brother named Jason Belton. He's with this organization called the Slate. As a matter of fact, many of you all know, watching the show, Dr. Jermaine Johnson. Big shout out to Dr. Jermaine Johnson. He is running to be the governor of South Carolina. Listen, he had an incredible primary turnout. Black folks, when we just, if we just show up for ourselves, you know what? Don't show up for yourself. Show up for your kids. Show up for your grandkids. Show up for your nieces, for your nephews. Show up for your elderly mom or your elderly dad or grandparent. Show up to make sure that they can that they can stay on Social Security and get their Medicare, Medicaid, that they can get their SNAP benefits, that eventually, maybe if you got a son or daughter that just had a new child, they can get free child care. If we can give Elon Musk's punk ass $8 million a day, this dude is supposedly a trillionaire. But I see that SpaceX company, that stock, what happened? Yep, he was tricked y'all. the banana in the tailpipe, I heard that stock dropped. But I digress. I'll say that conversation. But wait a minute, so why are you and me, you got paid, you get paid tomorrow, you got paid last week, or you got paid yesterday on the 15th. You see FICA, that FICA on your check, okay, some of that FICA money went to Elon Musk's company. So why, a dude, you worth $1 trillion, why do you get $8 million a day of taxpayer money? For what? Government contract? Really? This what we're doing? And y'all talk about socialism and communism, which I'm going to address. Class is almost in session. All right, call me Dr. G tonight. Because, speaking of the lies, you're going to hear a lot of, you've been hearing it already. Oh, well, so here's what's funny. If you believe that people should have like a real living wage now, because even in the hood, you can't even find, you probably can't even go to the projects and find a 2-bedroom for under $2,000 a month. I mean, that's just the way it is now. We know the prices of gas are sky high, going higher because your boy, Owen Chitler, still dropping bombs on Iran. And Iran is like, all right, we're going to keep dropping bombs on your boys in like Saudi Arabia or, Qatar or United Arab Emirates or whatever. So you got that madness going on, and you got a handful of billionaires that's really just using your boy, Owen Chitler, as a puppet so they can control everything. You got the Ellison family, racist ass Larry Ellison and his son that's bought up CBS. So now they have purchased the whole Time Warner. So now they got CNN. So they got this crazy chick, this MAGA chick, Barry Weiss. She's destroyed CBS. CBS used to be what they call it the Tiffany Network, especially for journalism. I know because, date myself way back in the mid-'80s when I was in college, my first job, answering phones in a newsroom for the CBS owned and operated station in Chicago, WBBM-TV. Iconic. Bill Curtis, Walter Jacobson, they was all, CBS was Walter Cronkite, the most trusted man in America. CBS had that kind of legacy. Dan Rather, Edward R. Murrow, just do the Google. Now, CBS is like a bad bootleg version of Fox News, or as I call it, fake news, or like MAGA propaganda, like MAGA 1. It's like the MAGA mothership is Fox News, and then you got all these bootleg versions. You had Newsmax and News Nation and One American Network. Now it's like CBS. What kind of business model is that? You cannibalizing all y'all can't be number one. All you all trying to go for the same MAGA audience, which is older and dying off every day. I digress. So, but today, class is in session because you're hearing about, well, if you vote for these, I'm going to translate for you. If you vote for these Democrats and these Democratic socialists, Translation, if you vote for these Negroes, if you vote for these American Negroes, and they're not using the Negro, they're using the N with the hard ER, not the GGA, the hard ER. If you vote for these democratic socialists, oh, it's going to be the end of the world, and they're going to come to your house, and they're going to rape your wife and your children, and they're going to take it. Okay. They've been telling you that. They told you the same thing. Barack Obama is going to take away all your guns. As a matter of fact, Barack Obama became president, and gun sales went through the roof. America has never sold as many guns as it did when Barack Obama was president. That should tell you something. That should tell you, there's a whole lot. But so let me just give you a crash course in dispelling the bullshit. So when you hear this, first it was socialism, but it's like, folks is like, well, wait a minute, socialism? What kind of socialism? Because a whole lot of, because folks is like Googling and they chat GPT and they're looking up, all right, so what is, because this version, this American version of 2026 capitalism, folks is like, that shit ain't working out for me. It's working great for Elon Musk and Larry Ellison and his son, David Ellison, and these billionaires, but wait a minute, how come, and then these companies and with AI, kids coming out of college can't get jobs. So let me just break it down real quick. Okay, now listen. This is the Cliff Notes version, because there are different forms of democracies. You got the parliamentary form of democracy, government, like they have in England. We have a republic, but this is a democratic republic. And I'm not going to bore you. I'm not going to get into the political weeds here, but let me just explain to you. Now, you know what communism is? Communism is basically all property, including all businesses, is privately owned. Now, when people think about communism, they kind of refer to the Russian form of communism, where like the government owns everything. There are no privately owned property, no privately owned businesses, no privately owned nothing. That is publicly owned, primarily a government. Now, so let's talk about socialism. The difference is everything is not privately owned. But let me just give you a crash course. So when people talk about, well, the socialism, the democratic socialism is going to destroy America. All right, now, here we go. And I'm going to go to my guest. This is going to be real simple because we'll be talking about this a lot. So you can jot this down. Socialism. Under socialism. You ready? Start writing, or just here. Clip and edit right here. Socialism. Your police department. Your fire department. Oh, the Social Security that your mom or your dad or your grandparents on? Oh, they like Social Security. Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP benefits that you get, or your daughter gets, or your grandkids get, or SNAP food benefits, socialism. The GI Bill, we'll take you back in history. The GI Bill that black people could not qualify, the GI Bill that helped veterans when they came back from World War II, that black people couldn't get and qualify for until the 70s. And the GI Bill hit right at the end of World War II. So that we're talking about really the late 40s and the 50s. Black folks couldn't sniff the GI Bill. Socialism. When's the last time you jumped on the interstate? Jumped on 95, jumped on I-10, or the 5. All right, I-94 in Chicago. Here in South Carolina, you jumped on I-20 going to Atlanta, I-26. What? Yeah, the interstate highway system? Socialism. Now, let's talk about some more socialism. Federal money. Federal money. Money, as a matter of fact, this SpaceX company that lost all this value by racist ass Elon Musk, well, guess what kind of money helped him launch SpaceX? Oh, the government, the federal government. Actually, it was the Obama administration, but I ain't gonna hold President Obama against that. So when corporations get tax breaks or that they support specific industries to build them up, that's socialism. Your public parks. When's the last time you gone? When's the last time you went to the library? Yes, you go to a public library. That's socialism. You go to the park and put your kids on the swing, or you go to the park, play some basketball out there on the courts. Public schools. For those in Chicago, the red line, the blue line, you go to O'Hare Airport, you take that rapid transit, that train goes underground and is elevated, the blue line from O'Hare to downtown, or the red line from 95th Street to Howard Street and go to see the White Sox play, the Cubs play. Or in New York, the D train, the A train. Or in Atlanta, MARTA. In San Francisco, Oakland, BARTA, the Bay Area, the Metro DC, public transportation, socialism. Free breakfast, free lunches, free Wi-Fi when you go somewhere. That's a form of socialism. You didn't know that, did you? All right, so we'll get back. A whole lot more to talk about, but I just wanted to give you that crash course. All right, I got to bring on my guest. I'm so excited to have him. He's part of this incredible slate of candidates from Dr. Jermaine Johnson all the way down. As a matter of fact, I'm honored that you'll have a chance to see every candidate that is a part of this historic slate here of candidates in South Carolina that South Carolinians showed up for, especially African Black South Carolinians, but also Hispanic South Carolinians, Native Americans, and shout out to the white non-MAGA, the white South Carolinians that leaned into our common humanity and empathy and decency, and didn't lean into the hate and bigotry and misogyny and the racism and just the foolishness and the dumb stuff, because some of these folks are screaming about they hate. Oh, wait, I don't like the socialism, but don't mess with my Social Security check. I make sure that come on time. Oh yeah, this Medicare, I need this Medicare to finally get some teeth in my mouth, but you don't like socialism, you dumbass. Anyways, my guest, he's running to be the South Carolina Secretary of State, and I'm excited for the brother. We got our paths across. As a matter of fact, he's worked with some family members. When I say Geno Jones Show family members, has been on the show. Shut up, Geno. Bring your guest on. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Brother Jason Belton to the show. Brother Jason, welcome, man.
Thank you, Brother Geno. Glad to be here.
Thank you for being patient. I just had to kind of just, because
you did a great job, man.
There's a lot of confusion out there, and folks are trying to, the banana in the tailpipe. It's like, all these democratic socialism and it's communist, and they're going to
right.
Seem like the only folks trying to take your property. And shout out to Reverend Warnock. Apparently they got the law passed, so basically stopping these large corporations from buying up like individual homes, because it was so hard. It's so hard for people to if you're trying to buy a home, and God forbid if you're trying to rent a home, because a lot of these big corporations were buying up all the houses or inventory and jacking up the prices. And where, like I said, if you in the hood in the projects, you probably can't find a 2-bedroom under $2,000 a month. Which is crazy. But anyway, Jason Belton, welcome. Just first introduce yourself, man. Give us your origin story, brother.
Yeah. But first I want to say, Geno, thank you for bringing me here, and I think you created a great foundation for us to even speak about today. I will go into my origin, but just speaking of, it touched me when you spoke about corporations and these big businesses, because that's exactly what excited me to jump into this race. Businesses, corporate nonprofits have literally been sucking the life and the resources out of the state for years. And on top of that, they don't even have a living agent in this state for us to even hold accountable to this. And then on top of that, as you said earlier, these are the folks that we're giving tax breaks to. Now, for the past 15 years, I've made it my mission, my livelihood, to help fortify these local nonprofits, these local businesses who have been literally the backbone of this state. Now, if these folks have been the backbone of the states, why are we not giving these tax incentives and breaks to the very people who is helping commerce move smoothly through this state? The ones who have been building up this economy, the ones who've been combating the things that have been plagues to our state, like mental health, crime rate. As you said, them buying our neighborhoods, particularly that's predominantly Black, and turn it into straight business that don't even push back into our own economy. These are issues that I've been combating for years, trying to bring and empower these nonprofits and these local businesses that have been struggling to stay afloat. So you came in right at the right time. I wanted you to know why and what made me come in to run for Secretary of State. As you may know, as I just explained, Secretary of State works very closely with our nonprofit organizers, our local business owners, and we make sure they keep their doors open and all these type of things. But a little bit about me. I had humble beginnings. I was raised in the country. I'm from Blythewood, South Carolina. That's the rural area of Richland County. Um, but my walking in life started off a little rough. You know, so I'm son of a pastor. My mother was a librarian, a manager of a librarian. I had no reason of being out there in the streets, but you know, as young folks, we get addicted to things that's just not for us. Realized very quickly that living that type of lifestyle really plagues our state. So I had to find a way to utilize the influence that I had in the street to make our state, our community a better place, right? In doing so, I ended up being at the wrong place, wrong time. I was wrongfully accused of a crime that ended up going on a federal level. And the reason it's so important, because by this time I was working very closely with the Democratic Party, as I am the nominee of the Democratic Party now. But the same energy that people utilize to tear you down, once you've proven that those were lies, the same lies you were speaking of earlier, I was wrongfully convicted. There was lies brought against me. And not only I was able to win this trial, in federal trial, in a 3-day trial, I was able to prove that the actual government manipulated the evidence against me.
Wow.
You know, so I didn't utilize it like I could and pull a lawsuit and all this good stuff. What I wanted to do is show these communities, these marginalized communities, these disenfranchised communities, that you can do it. You can come out of what people think you are, utilize your skill sets, transition them into the political and the business apparatus, and turn this world into the place that it's supposed to be. So I am that agent of change to show them that you can do it. And in the meantime, I plan to fight for our businesses, our nonprofits, and I plan to bring more integrity to our election process. So I'll leave it at, Geno. That's a little stump for me. I'm a Pentecostal
Preacher's
Pentecostal
kid.
child.
Well, you
So
were
I
preaching.
can run on and run on before I even give you an
It's
opportunity
in
to
your
speak
blood.
again.
I can hear it and feel it. It's in your DNA now, Pastor.
That's right.
So let's do this. I want you to, we're going to break it all the way down to where, as my grandfather, the late Joe Madison, this iconic Hall of Fame talk show host, used to say, put it where the ghost can get it, which means put it where everybody can understand. Give us an idea. What is a day in the life of the Secretary of State of South Carolina? What does that look like? What are you doing on a day that affects, you know, whoever's watching right now in a barbershop or beauty salon, or maybe they're watching at work, they got their earbuds in or on the treadmill. What does that look like on a day-to-day basis? How does that affect somebody who's watching in Richland County or here in Charleston County or anywhere in the state?
Right. I love it. You want to talk about the bureaucracy of that office. A lot of people have their mind to think that the Secretary of State is somebody sitting in this boring job in the middle of the State House ground and just pushing paper and, you know, making a checklist of all the LLCs and nonprofits that are coming in. But the Secretary of State's office is to protect all the filings in the state. And not only that, let me give you an office that he actually sits on. So there's a committee that the Secretary of State sits on. There's a quasi committee in the State House. He sits on with the president of the Senate, the Speaker of the House, and the chairs of the House and the Senate Judiciary Committee. As we just found out, these four folks that I just spoke of are the very ones who was controlling blueprints of redistricting. They're the ones chairing these committees. And you heard what I said. Secretary of State pretty much chairs the quasi committee that they sit on. So me saying that, I think it's safe to say that the Secretary of State has a huge impact as it comes to redistricting, as it comes to policy and legislation that is flowing through our state. But I don't think we have heard anybody bringing any attention to the Secretary of State or holding him accountable to these very things, right? Another thing that the Secretary of State does when it comes to hopefully our upcoming governor, Dr. Jermaine Johnson, we know we're going to get him in there and we're going to get him elected. So my office will be held accountable to being the liaison to the 300 plus committees and boards that make up the substance of South Carolina. So any vacant seats on these committees or boards, I will oversee it for one thing and make sure that it's filled. But I make sure I carry this information back to the governor to make sure that we know that the state is functioning efficiently and properly as it was meant to do. Now, one thing I do want to talk about, Brother Jones, here, our election committee, they're the one who manage the voting rolls, right? And you may not know, in November, there'll be up to 200,000 voters being purged from these voter rolls. The problem is, we don't even have an elected constitutional officer that has authority over the election commission to hold them accountable. I feel like if somebody is dealing with votes, and when we're talking about election integrity, we should have a constitutional officer who is voting in, that's held accountable to the constituency to make sure that that is flowing the way it should. That's the issue here in South Carolina. My opinion, and as I've traveled around the state, obviously it's a lot of our constituencies' opinion. So that's something I will fight for. When I become Secretary of State, I will make sure within the first 30 days, I'm going in that state house and making sure that they give statutory responsibility to my office to oversee the election commission. Yes, sir.
So, and I want to translate it because it's amazing. Great minds think alike.
Right.
Because my next question to you was going to be about the role that the Secretary of State plays in the elections that we have. Because for those you all who don't know, and if you decide to torture yourself by watching Owen Schindler with these lies and bullshit later on, please understand. All right, listen, if you in 6th or 7th grade and you learned anything about the Constitution, you understand that the person in the Oval Office does not control any statewide, even in a federal election for president, U.S. senator, every individual states. You got 50 states and 50 individual elections that are controlled, run, monitored. Audits are all state controlled and state run. Now, I know states are different, so Brother Jason Belton, I wanted to know, because like in Illinois, I know the Secretary of State of Illinois, where I grew up in Chicago, plays a pivotal role in terms of voting. They have their own board of elections, but in terms of monitoring and counting. So what is the specific role, break it all the way down, specific role that the Secretary of State has in terms of how the votes are counted, who does the audit, and that official count? What does it look like here in South Carolina?
So here, Secretary of State is considered a weak office as it comes to South Carolina.
Okay.
Unlike our neighboring state, Georgia, where we've seen when Stacey Abrams, the Secretary of State office had a very significant role in how that went, But we'll keep it South Carolina for now. So our election commission manages these voter rolls. But of course, as I told you earlier, the hidden influences of our Secretary of State, being appointed by the governor so far as the responsibilities, right? Mostly when it comes to election, he certifies the Electoral College vote. So he's the one who certified Trump back in 2024. So he does play that role as it comes to elections. Also, he gives the commission as it comes to our municipal elections and local elections across the state. He is the final seal to those elections. But so far as the management of the roles, that is dedicated to the election commission. which I plan to change. Yes, sir.
So let's take a walk. We're gonna walk into barber
Yeah.
shops, and I'm gonna go old school, as my
I
grandmother
love
would
our
say.
barbershops.
We're gonna walk into the barber shop. Shout out to my man Markel Bailey, designer cut.
Yeah.
We walking into all the barber shops. We going
That's
up,
correct.
we going up and down 26 and all across I-20.
I love our barbershops,
Yeah,
man.
and then we're gonna hit. We're not gonna leave the sisters out. We got to hit the old school. They call it the beauty. They don't call them beauty salons really now, but you know.
Yeah, I call
Yeah,
colleges. Yes.
Baby, I'm going to the beauty salon. Conway, honey, can you give me $20, $50? I need to go to the beauty salon and get my hair done. I can hear my grandmother saying that now. So we going in there, and you know the brothers and the sisters, you know,
Right.
the constituents here in South Carolina, they say, all right, Jason Belton, you sound good.
Right.
What? Because you talked about one of the first things you're gonna do. What's if there are 3 items? The first 3 things, or if it's just one thing you want to start with, but we'll just say the first 3 things that you plan to do when you take control of the office as Secretary of State, and how is that going to impact my life in a positive way, where I can see it in a tangible way every day from day one?
Right. So when we speak earlier about how these corporate nonprofits, also a lot of these corporate big businesses have again took a lot of the resources and taken advantage of them. One way is taking advantage. I'm gonna give you an idea. Well, I'm gonna give you what's been happening.
Okay.
There was a group called Cars R Us, right? This was a big business that partnered with a corporate nonprofit to say they were combating against breast cancer. Now, this wasn't in South Carolina, but particularly in South Carolina. Now, they raised up to $45 million, Geno, $45 million. And can you believe only spent $127,000 towards the actual operations they raised the money for, right? So what I like to call that is deceptive charity fundraising. And of course, this corporate nonprofit was colluding with the big business, right? So again, this is on a federal level, because most of our corporations don't even have a living agent that actually stays in our state for us to hold accountable.
Wow.
So what I plan to do first week is build a significant relationship with the board, with the Federal Trade Commission. This is something where we have to create a task force and create a very significant relationship to combat deceptive charity fundraising. These are the same folks that are taking advantage of our elders, the ones who have been sitting here for years, fighting for us, earned their way to sit down and retire. And these are who these folks are stealing from. And when it's time to even for somebody to bring a lawsuit or anything of that matter, they don't even know who to write. You know, that's how corporations have came into here. So I'm going to make a relationship so significant with the Federal Trade Commission that we scare these corporations for even trying to steal, even look like they're trying to steal from the state. First things first, right? Number 2, I'm going to let the president of the Senate, the Speaker of the House, the chairs of the House, and the Senate Judiciary Committee, chair of the Judiciary Committee, I'm going to let them know Jason Belton is now the Secretary of State. I want to sit down and let's go over this blueprints of this new legislation about how we're going to deal and give statutory responsibility to our constitutional officers. We're sitting here in a state where our constitutional officers is the ones who carry out the vision of the governor. When Dr. Jermaine Johnson get into this governor's seat, he needs to know that his cabinet is empowered to carry out the new SC vision.
Okay.
This is almost impossible if we are stricken statutory language, right? So I'm going to let them know I know about this little quasi committee, and I'm going to continue to chair it. This has to pass Secretary of State. That's number 2, right?
And
Number three.
Jason, I want to just pause you for those, because I always like to really break it so people are clear.
Right.
Explain to them, and I guess I would say non-industry jargon, statutory authority. Explain to what is
Correct.
that? What does that look like? What does that mean?
So legislation governs how the constitutional officers are able to operate, right? it explains the autonomy that they have, right? And that's why we're considered a weak government state, because our constitutional officers have been stricken in this legislative statutory responsibilities. We've been stricken down to really not having a lot of power, like I said, even with the elections.
Okay.
We should be over them type of things, you know? Oh, yes, sir.
So it's more like the power you should have is that power basically controlled by legislators or the governor or a combination of both?
It is. It is. It's more controlled by General Assembly, you know, which is both the House and the Senate.
Okay.
And of course, here in South Carolina, you know, the Republicans have supermajority, right? They can go home, they can go up there and vote and don't even care if the Democratic leaders even show up, right? So part of my job as a candidate, because I want to make sure this is known as well, Brother Geno, we can have the most intelligent candidates, all can have doctorate by their names, but if we're not able to move the needle as it comes to the deficit of the voters between the Republicans and the Democrats in elections, then we're just going to have some smart losers sitting at the House. And let me be quite frank, I don't come here to lose. I don't have any type of vision of just creating a platform for myself. I've been working in these marginalized, disenfranchised, and even our regular and business communities for years. So I'm not looking for a platform. But I know we have enough voters that have been sitting at home for the past 3 midterms that if they are excited to come out and vote in this election, we can win this election and we can break the supermajority that the Republicans feel they have here right now, right? And the way that needs to happen, me and my colleagues, the other constitutional officers, we've set out. You talked about the legacy slate, right? So they've been calling us the people's team. I know you've seen the slate card that Brother Brandon Upson created and went all over the state. Yeah. And most of the voting precincts, it was in their phone while they was in the line. I mean, I loved it as I traveled the state. But the point I'm making is this slate that they haven't seen since literally Reconstruction in 1868, where there was an all-black slate that made it in, that got voted in, and changed the trajectory of how South Carolina moves. That same paradigm shift is going to happen this year. And the way it's going to happen, our constitutional officers, this legacy slate is going to work closely with the targeted state house races, where we know if they overperform, Geno, we will replace that Republican seat that's there. This is going to happen. And how it's going to happen, the legacy slate being pushed out, the visibility in such a way that it turns on and excites these missing voters that are predominantly Black, that will be over 66% of this election. That 5% excitement bomb is going to literally change the hearts and the minds of the state. And I can promise you, brother, we will hold these offices. We're going to hold these offices with the help of our constituency.
You can help me out, but I know I'm pretty accurate. Almost a third of this state is African Americans. All right.
Yes.
And yes, they say, well, South Carolina is red, it's a ruby red state. Well, it's red until it's not. And
we hear that a lot.
And that's why I said it's red until it's not. But what I do know is in the primary, the numbers that Dr. Johnson got in terms of actual voters was more than anybody got on the MAGA side. So that's the blueprint. The blueprint is we showed up for each other. We showed up for ourselves. I've been saying this for a couple of months. I am shouting out those young brothers and sisters, the class of 2026 at South Carolina State University. Sometimes you got to just piss people off. And it was a combination of when Miss Everett, who will be watching and eating, she'll pop some popcorn.
Sure.
What did my man Terrell always said? She gonna be popping some popcorn and watching y'all on election night in November. But that stunt to
Right.
where she wanted to speak to those young brothers and sisters. They was like, hold on, no, your morals
Right.
are in no way aligned. The bigotry, the racism, the demonization, the fact that you referred to them as a mob, and how you
Yeah.
spoke against DEI like it was
Yeah.
cancer. And
Yeah.
and the con is, I'm gonna let my white brothers into something. You know, DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Yeah.
Diversity,
We
equity,
got
and
to say
inclusion
it. That's right.
programs were benefiting young white men because
Yeah.
the enrollment, white male enrollment, had gone down throughout colleges
Right.
and universities all across America. So
Right.
the
Right.
diversity, equity, and inclusion programs were helping some of them white dudes that was C students to get enrolled because women, and you see this across in terms of
Yeah.
black women and white women, college enrollment among women was
Yeah.
higher, much higher than it was for men. So that DEI
Right.
was helping some of these same white dudes that was with the hats and saying all. So you hating on something that benefited you, which
Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
people had been voting against their own interests. But the point I'm making is that those young people, they lit a spark because it
Yeah.
seems like, let's say, wait a minute, collectively, the culture and community said, oh, you called those young people, you talking about our best and brightest, them young
Right.
brothers and sisters up in South Carolina State, that's our best and brightest, and you calling them
Right.
a mob, and then on top of it, you referred to it earlier, you all are just play in our face, and we just gonna
Yeah.
redraw, as I call it, redistricting. You gonna just redraw these lines and try to dilute
Right.
black voting power? Okay, I tell you what, you have folks on the couch because the biggest voting block in America for decades has been the couch. The dude
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
sister on the couch. But enough of them dudes and sisters on the couch said, wait, what y'all do? What y'all do to my little cousin, my little niece, up
Right.
their state? Oh, okay. And then what? Y'all just gonna just redraw? Okay, guess what? We gonna show up.
And outside of a census year, you know, when it comes to redistricting, redistricting is supposed to be administered during a census year, which is usually every 10 years. But as you can see, when Trump make the word here in South Carolina, in this so-called ruby red state, they fall in line. But the way these lines were drawn is why we're seeing it appearing as a red ruby state. But let's just be real. There's a lot of folks that have moved into the state that were originally Democrats, mostly probably moderate Democrats, and they have voted into the Republicans' elections, right? And this year, I believe we're going to win them back. You know, I don't fight with this partisan line. I run on the Democratic ticket because I love the people of the Democrats. And I'm proud to be a nominee of the Democrats. But when I see South Carolina, I'm all about business, right? We need to get back to business, building back our economy, making sure that commerce flows the way that it's supposed to flow. And that doesn't take out or negatively impact those who are a part of the Republican Party or voted on the Republican ticket. So this year, our constitutional officers are reflecting such a beautiful vision with each individual office. When it comes to folks like Miss Sylvia Wright, you know, when it comes to Republicans and Democrats, they don't concern themselves about that when it comes to their kids, right? As it came to the money that's being spent, our brother Vince Cole, you know, his job is not only to hold the money, his job is to reflect where money is being invested. You know, when it comes to your money being spent, Brother Geno, I don't think you're going to concern yourself whether it's Republican or whether it's Democrat. Let's make sure we spend the money and make sure it's an ROI, a real return on investment. You know, when it comes to our dear sister Tiffany Boozer, right? Very intelligent sister, love her to death, you know, but she's the state auditor and will be the state auditor and already currently works in that office, right? Who cares if she's Republican or she's Democrat when it comes to drawing the lines on where the money is being spent? And is it being spent the way it's supposed to, right? And lastly, our other brother that's running for agriculture, our brother Deshaun, right? These are the very office that protects the way our food commerce is moving. What do we eat? The protections on that. I don't think that matters whether we're Republican or Democrat, right? And for some reason, this year, grassroots decided we wanted all these offices to be held by Black candidates. We didn't come together and say, hey, we're going to create this black slate. God did that. The people did that. They believed in us. They believed in our vision. So we don't look at ourselves just as a black slate, but we're also not going to take away the fact that we are definitely checking off a milestone in history that the state haven't seen qualified candidates all across this slate since Reconstruction, 1868, right? And that's why you're going to see something called the legacy slate being dropped. And let me also give salutations to our brother Richard, which is one of our white allies, who's also a candidate for Attorney General, right? This guy is going to have to make sure that he is taking care of law and order here in this state, right? But either way, we love our white allies as well. There's a home for everybody here. This is not just a democratic vision, right? This is a vision that's saying we're getting back to business in South Carolina. We're getting back where all people are being able to succeed. All people are being empowered. I don't believe that's going to happen unless we elect this legacy slate. I'm not just saying that because I'm on it, Brother Jones. I'm saying it because I feel it in my heart. I'm going around seeing the people, seeing our white allies, seeing our beautiful LGBTQ community who have been marginalized when it comes to business, who have been disenfranchised as it comes to getting the proper resources to run their business, right? So call me a socialist all you want. But what I am is making sure that all people, no matter the demographic, no matter what communities they are part of, that you're able to succeed. And currently in South Carolina, under the leadership we have been under from most of these offices, it seems like it's only been tilted to one side, right? It seems like as soon as they got a supermajority in the General Assembly, all of a sudden our communities are starving from resources, right? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me, Brother Jones, but I'm telling you, and whoever's watching this, I want you to hear me clearly. We're going to get back to business here in South Carolina, and we're going to do that through the Democratic Party ticket.
And let me just add to this, and then I want you to let everybody know where they can go and support your campaign.
Yes, sir.
One of the main reasons that the slate, which I know you have a major announcement, so I want you to,
Yes,
go ahead and speak to that to whatever level you can. I know the big launch is tomorrow, so I know you probably still got to keep a few things under your hat, but I want you to let everybody know where they can look out for this big announcement and this big launch, and I'll have details here.
Yeah.
There are a lot of folks who don't have melanin like me and you who realize that this whole, as social scientists call the social construct of race, which I call it a con. It's just a con game, and it was created by Europeans who never called themselves white, who were wealthy and powerful, who didn't want to have anything to do with poor Europeans that they referred to as peasants. But they had to figure out, well, before these peasants get pissed off at us and realize that we don't give a shit about them, we got to make them, we got to figure out somebody else to demonize. Oh, you need to be mad at those dark people in that dark continent, and they've got all these resources and gold and diamonds and all precious metals and minerals, and they can grow all type of foods and crops, and we can't grow shit in this climate here in Europe. We got to, but there was never intention. The elite, the wealthy, didn't want to be bothered with the Europeans, or who eventually started calling them. So they created this construct. But the point I'm making is now, more and more and more of these non-melanated brothers and sisters, even some of them that was worshiping their orange Lord and Master and with the hat on. But guess what? When you go to the gas station and you got that new car, and the premium says $5, or damn near $5, it don't say you Democrat or Republican. That pump says $5. And if you need to
That's
fill
right.
up your tank, you paying $5. When you go and you go and get some eggs, that
Right.
eggs you ain't getting a discount.
Right.
For these stores, these corporations, I like catfish. They went up $10.99. So
Right.
if seafood and salmon, you ain't getting a
Right.
discount. You're not getting a discount to be in this cult. Not at all. All right.
Right.
So the labels, which is why I started off the show, Brother Jason,
Yeah.
we're trying to educate people that these labels were created to divide us.
It
The
sure
labels
was.
don't mean shit.
It sure was.
What's
sure was.
important is, and I use this quick example because you're a PK and your dad was a preacher. I taught my
Hallelujah.
daughter. I said, anybody that tells you how good of a Christian you are, run away from their ass. Because if you are really this Christian, and we won't even talk about this
Right.
racist remix version of Christianity, because I make their head explode and say, okay, do you understand? Do you know where Christianity originated from?
Yeah.
They don't know. I said, oh, Google Coptic Christianity, Ethiopia, the continent of Africa. So they don't want to have that conversation. So the point I'm making is, don't tell me how good a Christian or a Muslim
Yeah.
or a Jew or Hindu,
Right.
how you live your life, your walk,
Right.
how you help the least of these.
Right.
You won't have to say a word. How you treat other people will tell me
Right.
everything about your true moral core and value.
Right.
So the end point is that it's a choice between humanity and inhumanity. The labels
Right.
are just that's catnip for the media and
right.
folks get on social. The labels don't mean what are you doing? You can
Right.
you can call yourself anything. You can call
Right.
yourself a lion or a gorilla or a horse, but if you barking, you're a dog.
That's right.
So the labels don't mean anything. How are you living your life?
That's
And
correct.
it's a choice. Do we lean into humanity and see
Right.
each other's common humanity? You would think
Right.
we would have learned that, Brother Jason, when COVID hit. Because COVID didn't
Right.
give a damn. It didn't discriminate. You
Yeah.
had folks that was billionaires that asked,
Yeah.
checked up out of here. It didn't matter. It didn't matter, white, black, global. That that virus didn't give a shit. It didn't care. It was just looking for a human host. And if
Right.
it got a hold of you, and we lost over 1 million people here in America that, we didn't have to lose. That's a whole nother story. But the point I'm trying to make is that we really have more in common than we have apart. But
Right.
bigotry, hatred, fear, misogyny, racism, homophobia, and hate in all of its forms has always been big business for a small handful of people.
That's true. And specifically, it has been that here in South Carolina. I'm touched when I speak about COVID and the different things we transferred over from year after year coming from the COVID area. I lost my mother in 2022.
Oh, man.
And matter of fact, I lost her 3 days before we did I was set as the third vice chair of the, forgot what it's called now, but it was the Democratic Party's Black Caucus, right? Me and Brother Brandon Upson was the chair at the time. Me and this brother co-founded this Sunday dinner. And it's dear to me because, my mother passed literally 3 days before we actually did this. And she told me right then, she said, I love the way you're going. She's like, God is really going to work through you. And that good old brother Brandon Upson, she been seeing what was in him, but she said, let me let you know, son, you're running in a rich man's sport, so keep God with you. Keep your humility, and God will take you further than what money can take you. I've been offered plenty things. I've even been offered money to step outside of this race before, this particular race that I'm in now. But my election in the primary, and some of my colleagues that are constitutional candidates as well, we reflected that grassroots, real people, and God's people would always overwhelm money. I didn't raise over $6,000 in the primary,
Say that, okay.
but I was able to win over a machine that was operated to replace me in this election. It let me know that God was with me. It confirmed he was there for me. So those are milestones that I'm looking at. And I believe the very same thing is going to happen in November. Numbers are what's going to win. And I'm not talking about numbers behind a money sign. I'm talking about numbers. The people are the one that won this election. The people are the reason a black brother that they tried to take out multiple times politically and physically is still standing here. And I'm not looking for a redemption, because I told you I was wrongfully accused. I was not guilty. So what I have and what God has given me is vindication. That's what I have here, right? And what's going to happen is we are looking into these numbers. We see the counties that need to overperform so that the Democratic ticket wins as it comes to this November election, Brother Geno.
Well,
I'm so elated.
Go ahead, finish your thought.
Yeah, I'm so elated to see God working through the slate. But I won't lie to you and say that I can't really see that at this moment, some of us candidates, I feel like we're being alienated by the power brokers, by the establishment, right? Because sometimes what wins the people is not necessarily a direct attraction of the money, right? When I get on the phones and ring phones down to try to raise fundraising, right? Raise the funds that I need. Sometimes I'm even calling officials, elected officials who had to do this and was getting funds from our people for years and act like they don't understand the process when I'm calling them. They act like they don't understand when our people were on the grounds for them in kind for free because we believed in their vision. But now the grassroots candidates are on this slate. I'm going to do my job to make sure that I'm trying to get donations in. And my job is to make sure that these donors get a return on investment. That comes before the office, right? It comes before the office. But I'm going to make this clear. This legacy slate is not dependent on money. We're dependent on God, and we're dependent on the people who made sure that we won this election against hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's what's going to happen in November. And we're going to make sure that we're empowering those like you who have been putting the truth out in South Carolina. I love the segment I seen with you and Brandon Upson, that brother realized that we needed a resource to attach to plug into. We're not getting right now from the establishment. So that launch you're talking about that's happening tomorrow is not created by the constitutional candidates, but it's created around the people power who realize they don't see power brokers standing behind us as nominees as they should. But let me make this clear. I will protect all of the independent coordinated campaigns that understands it's the year we can win. Putting us in position will make sure the supermajority is broken. Putting us in position will make sure that brothers like Brandon Upson, who have been fighting out in his own pocket to make sure that we can change the trajectory of this state, yet we're fighting against the very ones who should be given the resources to make sure we move accordingly, right? We gotta let bygones be bygones. And let's say this lastly, brother. I love what you said about unity. Call me what you want to call me. You're right. It has been a lot of fake, hate, a lot of fake too. It has been a lot of lack of faith. It has been a lot of homophobic folks around here. It has been racist folks around here. I love my white allies who are behind me in all of these counties. Even though the large amount of voters that will make the deciding factor is predominantly Black, our white allies stood by us hand in hand in the primary. Our LGBTQ community, even though they're going through what they're going through systematically because how the systems are set in South Carolina, it took a time out of their time to make sure that this slate can be powerful, that this slate can make it through the primary. All of our allies behind us, people power is here. That's how every one of these candidates won. It wasn't money. It wasn't the establishment. It wasn't the power brokers. It was people power, baby. And that's what's coming right now. Excuse my passion. A lot of people.
No, I love it. Listen,
Hear
come
my
on.
passion.
Come on, Pastor.
But I
Listen.
do it because I love our people.
The
I love our
doors of the
people.
church are open. So,
I love our people,
so
man.
listen,
You know?
I do too. And I love our people. I lean into humanity. So
Right.
I love people in general. I have no tolerance
right.
for bigotry and hate and racism. I don't
Yeah.
fuck with that at all. But I am unapologetically pro-black. And this
That's right.
is why. Because
That's right.
America
That's our superpower, brother.
is
That's our superpower.
still,
And that comes from my sister Tiffany Boozer.
Yep.
She the one put that on mine. She said, brother, this is our superpower. We love everybody, but this is our superpower.
That's right. And I am unapologetic pro-black because America is still unapologetically anti-black.
That's right.
And the anti-blackness is global.
That's why they're scared of this ticket, brother.
I know. But the sick, twisted, evil, I'm not even gonna use genius, but just demonic spirit is that they've invoked it, they've inflicted and infected so many people who don't have melanin who continue to vote against their own interest. That's why I said, listen, it's the people have the power because everybody needs health care. Okay.
That's right.
And a lot of folks that
and affordable healthcare.
Teeth look like a jack-o'-lantern need dental care. And and there's a lot of families that need help with child care because now child care, God forbid, if you got 2 kids, you paying a mortgage on a luxury house.
That's right.
A month.
That's right.
All right. People need they need good roads. They need like I said, affordable. They need affordable housing. They're going to need to make sure that their elderly parent or grandparent that's been living in historically black neighborhoods are not priced out. But guess what?
That's right.
It ain't just the black neighborhoods that's being gentrified.
That's correct.
These poor white communities and trailer park communities.
That is correct.
These developers come in.
All marginalized communities. That's correct. That's correct.
All right. So understand that you are being hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok with this race thing to our non-melanated brothers and sisters. Because like I said, when you go to the gas pump and you got that new car and you need that premium gas, that 93, and it's $5, your whiteness ain't going to help you at all. That pump is going to be like $5.
That's correct.
Sir or ma'am, $5. Or you have to find somewhere else to go.
That's correct.
So tomorrow you got the big announcement. You talked about this, the legacy slate. Is there going to be a site on social media? What is that launch going to look like?
So from my understanding,
right.
So from my understanding, this independent coordinated campaign that's being launched, I believe it's going to be a website launch, social media everywhere. We have a forum with all the constitutional candidates tomorrow in Greenville, led by Miss Boots on the Ground, Miss Lisa. She up there in Greenville. So it's going to be a big boom, man. And we're going to launch it as the legacy slate. I'm glad that folks have taken interest and not afraid with all this black power coming from this slate. So I'm glad it's happening. I'm asking the community, don't be scared of what you're seeing, right? These are brilliant, very much qualified candidates who so happily to be black, that is going to meet milestones in the state. And let me tell you something. The internet and videos can't even express all the places we're going. We're in the clubs going in there for just 10 minutes to have our speech, to stop the DJs, to stop the music for a second, for us to make sure folks are being registered, for them to understand their power in the black community. You said it earlier, and I'm going to say it again. We will be over 66% of the election this year in November. So we'll be fools not to put this in the state, put this in the mind frame of all our black folks that have been missing from the political process for at least the past 3 midterms. That is who we after. I love our Democratic voters, but I'm asking them, give us opportunity. Understand us when we can't make it to every event. That's because we're going far out into these communities who have lost trust in our election process to make sure that we're bringing them to the table in November. And they will be predominantly black. But I've asked our party leadership Let's do away with all this having to pass the Democratic purity test, having these folks having to come into our meetings. No, we need to go out there to where they are. That's what our candidates are doing. And we're going to raise them and raise their mind frames out of not believing that their vote don't count. Their vote count. And it just shows where I barely crossed over that barrier in the primary. But I can tell you, Black folks that have been missing from this process, hear me out. Power is within you. You can do it. You're gonna do it. Roll up all your rappers, your R&B singers, your comedians, your DJs. We need you all to the table. Invite us out to your events. Invite us out to your clubs when it first starts.
Put your boots on the ground.
And we'll tell you,
get your fans out.
That's right. Where them fans at?
Holla at 803 Freshie up your way. Tell them to come on
That's
out.
thing out here. He really is.
Let's
really
pop
is.
them fans. Let's get the trail rides going. Let's get it all going.
We need the hip hop culture here.
Yep.
We need them to start driving their vehicles to the polls. Yes, sir.
Let's get some house music going, some hip hop. We're gonna do it all. The trail ride, you name it, everything. Jazz.
And that's what the legacy
Western.
slate is gonna bring out, brother.
Yes. And
that's what they're gonna bring out.
One last thing for my melanated brothers, non-melanated brothers and sisters, for you, those who identify with this made-up construct of whiteness.
That's right.
Don't let this melanin fool you.
That's right.
I guarantee you, I promise you,
Right.
I stand on my grandparents' grave and I would give my life for my grandparents right now, this second. The policies that they will enact, it's going to improve your life.
That's right.
It's going to improve your life because you have folks that look
wife,
like you.
They've been there for us.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
You have voted for folks that look like you, that didn't give a shit about you, but that had you pissed off at some black folks. But the reason your job and your plant was shut down in South Carolina and shipped somewhere in South Korea or in Mexico, it was folks that looked like you that sat and made a decision. This state had a chance to get Medicare, I believe, Medicare and Medicaid, the Medicaid expansion. Yeah. So there's a bunch of you all that don't even have health insurance that should have had health insurance. And you would have had the health insurance from a melanated dude that was in the White House. But no, we can't, no, it's that Negro. But you done gone 15 years with no health insurance. Yeah. Some of y'all actually got on Obamacare, they called Obamacare the Affordable Care Act, and discovered that you had stage 4 cancer. So it was a man that looked like this man that probably saved a life, your life, or somebody in your family. So listen, the banana and the pill, don't be hoodwinked and bamboozled. All right. Don't let this, because in human biology, when you get a DNA test, it ain't gonna say I'm 90% white or 85% black. It ain't gonna say that. Not at all. Not at all.
That's right.
All right. And like we said, everybody needs health care because diseases and virus, cancer strikes everybody. Strokes,
it's at all-time high, especially cancer.
That's right. That's right. It don't care. It don't give a shit.
Right.
And
that's right.
Even though a lot of those diseases disproportionately affect Black Americans, but it also affects poor white Americans too.
That's correct.
Because you're living in the same conditions, you're living in communities that you've had these corporations that pollute the air, and now these AI data centers that your light bill is sky high. The water table, you ain't gonna have no water. Yeah. And if you get water, they're gonna charge you. It's gonna be sky high for that. Okay.
That's right.
It's a simple choice. Who is leaning into humanity? Who sees your common humanity? Who wants to improve your life and make sure that you have health insurance, that you're making a decent wage? Because the federal minimum wage is $7.25. That is a crime. $7.25 an hour. You can't be homeless on $7.25 an hour. They'll kick your ass out of the park.
We need a living wage, man. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Brother Jason, listen, let everybody know where they can learn more about you, where they can support you, because campaigns need money. We got the money. You had the money to go to the Essence Festival. You had the money. Some of y'all went up there to see Jay-Z throwing shade at Colin Kaepernick, which is a whole nother story. So you got the money. You got the.
That's true.
Listen, all the tailgating parties. So this is an investment in our common humanity. So I want to thank you. I want to
Thank
thank
you,
your
brother.
family. I kept you way longer than
It's all
probably
right.
should have. But just the
She,
vibe and
my
the
wife already gonna kill me
conversation.
for drinking a soda.
Come
I
on,
only supposed to be
man.
drinking soda. I was drinking it online.
Come on, man. So I'm gonna let you get some water now, cause that soda, that's all. I had to pull that. Boy, that
Yeah, I need
soda's
to cut the
addictive. I
sugar.
know. My doctor's like, all right, we gonna have to switch that out. We had to get.
Yeah.
When you saw I had that water, get that H2O. Let everybody know where they can support the
Yeah.
campaign financially and
Yes.
learn more about you, Jason Belton.
That's correct. So you can donate on my Act Blue. You can put in Jason Belton FORSC, FORSC. Also, my website is jasonbelton, FORSC.com. You can find the contact information there as well. I do need your support. I need your prayers. And I'll be a lie if I say I don't need your fundraising. All of the constitutional candidates need it so that we can make sure we give you a return on investment. Thank you so much, Brother Jones, for giving me the opportunity. I love our people. I love our great state. And we can do better. And we will do better.
Well,
Thank you,
listen,
sir.
Brother Jason, you have a permanent home on the show. May
Appreciate
God
you.
continue to bless and have favor on you,
Yes, sir.
your family, and this campaign. And once again, I want everybody to listen, to please, no jokes here. I am very serious. See and hear and feel the humanity that this man
That's right.
has. Don't
right.
get distracted. Don't let this melanin distract you. Because this
Right.
melanin has nothing to do, or lack of melanin has nothing to do with your humanity.
That's
Who leans into your humanity? Who
That's right.
wants to improve the daily life of you and your family, full stop. No matter
right.
what you look like, no matter who you pray to or don't pray to, no matter who
That's
you
right.
love or want to, sleep with or don't, that's irrelevant. That is irrelevant. Who sees our common humanity? Because we are
That's right.
all part of the human race.
Gotta be in the mix. As long as we're part of the human race.
That's right.
That's right.
Absolutely. Thank you, brother. I've enjoyed this conversation, man. It's just
did as well,
we
brother.
vibing like
Yes,
we've
sir.
known each other for 20, 30 years. So
Yes, sir.
anytime
Appreciate you.
you need to come back, you got a
Yes, sir.
platform. Anything that you want to say to
Yes, sir.
to the public, to the
Yes, sir.
men and women and the children, the families of South Carolina, you got a home
Yes, sir.
here. So we are naming and claiming. I believe in speaking into existence. So I hope you
Amen.
don't, you didn't
No,
feel
no,
that
God
this-
is in this, brother. I couldn't
Come
do this
on,
without
all right,
God.
there you
So,
go. We are
that's
naming
right.
and
That's right.
claiming the soon-to-be future
Yes, sir.
Secretary of State of the great state
That's
of
correct.
South Carolina. You see him right there, Brother Jason
sir.
Belton. We are naming and claiming that and speaking that into
right.
existence. That's right.
Amen.
Where two agree, where two or more touch and agree,
Better say it.
we're touching and agreeing on that, brother. Yeah, I ain't a PK, but I had to go to Sunday school and first Sunday
God is
sit in
with you, man.
church for
Switch it.
8-9 hours and miss the football games and vacation Bible study in the summertime.
It's all good.
It's all good. Thank you,
God is
brother.
with
I
us, brother.
appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Be blessed.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Be blessed as well.
Thank you, man. All right. Man, that was a great conversation. Shout out to my man, Jason. All right, listen. Shout out to Nicola Hemphill. She is master strategist, political operative. Titles. She facilitated this conversation. More about this legacy ticket. We'll talk more about that. There's going to be a press release out tomorrow. As a matter of fact, Nicola Hemphill will be my guest on Tuesday. This sister is brilliant. I can't wait for you all to get to meet her. Everybody. Brandon Upton, and of course my man Jason Belton, you see. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life. As always, God bless each and every one of you, and especially you, God, most of all. Thank you for letting me do the Geno Show. Come on, do me a favor right now. I need you to click on the thumbs up. Like, share, copy and paste the link, copy and paste it in an email, a text message. Copy and paste it on your forehead, copy and paste it on your butt, on your belly button. I don't care where you copy and paste it. Like, share, and subscribe to the Geno Jones Show YouTube channel. It's so important we support Black-owned media. Please support my media company so we can continue to have shows like this, have a conversation and a platform like this, so you can support the show basically 3 ways. Via Zelle, use my email address, Geno Jones Show. That's how you spell it. It's all one word, Geno Jones Show at Gmail. No amount is too small or too large. All right. Now, you can Zelle using my email address, that Gmail I just gave you, right? Geno Jones Show at Gmail. You can Cash App, $Dad G Jones, capital D, lowercase a D, capital G J, lowercase ONES. If you'd like to be a sponsor, if you'd like to advertise, you saw the commercial at the beginning of the show if you were here, campaign ad for Dr. Chris Jones. He is running to be the first African American elected to the Congress from the state of Arkansas. He's been a guest on the show. He's part of the Geno Jones Show family. If you have an ad, a campaign ad, or if your business, if you have an ad, video, a digital video ad, or an ad that you would run on regular commercial TV, we got you right here. Use that same email address, my Gmail, GenoJonesShow at Gmail. Reach out to me and I'll get you a sponsorship package. And I would love to have you as part of the Geno Jones Show family. Shout out to Allie Jones. She is the official wardrobe consultant and stylist for the Geno Jones Show. You can check her and her Lexi Jones collection out. LX.N, like Nanette, C like Charlie, L like Lexi. LX.N, CL_. And shout out to Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show, the CEO of Designer Cuts here in the Charleston, South Carolina metro area. Check him out, Designer Cuts. It's KLB Cutting Up on social media, on Instagram, on IG, KELBECUTTINUP. Once again, shout out to the future, our next South Carolina Secretary of State, Jason Belton. Yes, I am speaking it into existence. I am naming and claiming it. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you. We'll see you live Friday. My man Roy Chip Anthony, R&B, Southern Soul, Swing superstar, is going to be my guest. He's got a brand new album, so he's going to talk all about it, and he's got a whole lot of things going on, so we're going to have a lot of fun. But we'll see you live Friday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 Central Time, 4:30 p.m. on the West Coast. Programming note, one last thing. We'll have a new start time in about 2 weeks. The new start time will be 7 p.m., 30 minutes earlier. It'll be 7 p.m. Eastern Time. It'll be 6 p.m. Central Time, 4 p.m. on the West Coast. That's in about 2 weeks. But Friday, 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central Time, 4:30 p.m. on the West Coast, live right here. All right, don't forget, click on that thumbs up and leave your comments. Please, 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 please leave your comments in the comments section below right now. I love you. Real love, it is a verb. It is an action word. Show somebody you love them. And I'll see you Friday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of The Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.